Good morning, everybody. How are you? Welcome to Natasha Makes. We are not normally a dressmaking type channel. It's not normally what we do. However, I'm an outdoorsy girl. I love this sort of thing with a pair of boots. In fact, let's bring this one in a little bit so that we can see. I was wearing this one yesterday. Jane said to me, she said, when I put my hand on the show, she said, when I put my hand under your top thing, she said, well, it was so warm. And this is, so if you are someone that loves warmth, this is for you. If you want to be stylish, maybe like, I think a nice pair of long boots with these. Nice pair of long boots is where I would go with these. And then just a pair of jeans, long sleeve top. Bosh, you're done. We've got various fabrics. So as a lot of you know, we have got waxed fabrics of all shapes, sizes and varieties. And we're kind of drip feeding them to you with projects that suits, because otherwise it's overwhelming all the different types and styles that we have. So we're giving you little bit by little bit with fabrics and projects that we think suit. Now, obviously, when you've got them home and you're going to be using them and feeling them, and you're going to be like, oh yeah, no, I can use this for this. So whatever. But for those of you that are maybe unsure, maybe this is the first time you've worked with wax, we're holding your hand very, very, very firmly through this because it's so beautiful to work with. Really, really, really gorgeous. So today we are going to make these. Now, we couldn't work out whether they were wraps, ponchos, capes. We weren't sure. Gemma's messaging me, is my sound okay? Bit in and out with a bit of an intermittent squeak. Is that still the case? I don't know. Oh no, it's the girls checking that we have tested the waterproofness of one of the fabrics that, yes, we have in the studio now. We have a little spray so we can go, right, is it waterproof? Yeah. What about that one? Waterproof? Yeah, waterproof. Yeah. And so we just, we spray them as we go. It's like, So today we have got all sorts of gorgeous goodies for you. I'm excited. I'm not going to lie, because if you can sew a straight line, you can make one of these. Clear your desk. That's what I say to you. Just clear your desk, get your big cutting mats out, and we're going to give it a go. If you have got, don't know where mine is, if you've got a big rotary cutter, then cutting through all the layers at one go suddenly becomes an absolute dream. That's a really easy thing to do. So I've also got, so I'm going to stop saying so in a minute. I might not. We have got for you as well fabrics that are perfect for dog beds. We can whip one up very quickly. It's very easy to show you what to do. If you want a set of instructions, we can write those up for you as well. But I know from my experience having multiple dogs, we require multiple dog beds all over the place. So we'll have a look at really quick, easy ways to do that. You can do them just like a big cushion. But if you want one to have a little bit of depth, I will show you how. And then just put in the comments if you'd like a set of instructions for how I do mine. My dogs are crated a lot of the time with the door open, like the majority of the time. Reuben sometimes has to have his door shut just to give him a break from Minnie wanting to play with him. Reuben is my Great Dane, Minnie is my 7-month-old spaniel, and she does not give up. So poor Reuben sometimes just puts himself in there just for quietness. So these will fit very beautifully if your dog is crated. Otherwise, just a normal cushion type dog bed works in your plastic beds. But these will also fit in the boots of your cars. So for me, I've got for you on today's show a gorgeous black drill, which firstly would make these beautifully. If you don't want to work with wax, if you don't like the feel of wax, then the drill is the way to go there. But also I've got black interior in my car, so this is going to be something that I can wash, that is water repellent but isn't cold, because Reuben is really short-haired and he feels the cold, he likes to snuggle. At the moment he has a waterproof bed that is cold, and so we always put a blanket on there for him, and if the blanket, if it gets sort of screwed in, then he just gets smaller and smaller to make sure that he is on that bit. So I know he doesn't like anything cold, so it's Operation Redo Reuben's Beds. And to have one in the back of the car, because we're the best one in the world, when they come out the woods, off the beaches or anywhere like that and they are wet, I don't want my car absolutely covered in sand. I don't want my car absolutely wrecked. So that, we've got these fabrics on for you today. They will also make fabulous dog coats as well. We do have a pet coat guide. We were having a day when we called it the pet coat guide. Can we just rename it dog coat, because it's for dogs? But they were, I remember there was, I think there'd been something in the news, and we were being particularly PC, and we're like, people will complain if they want to make it for their cats. I don't know anyone that puts a coat on their cat, but it was called a pet coat. It's a dog bed guide, a dog coat guide. So if you want to use these for dog coats as much as anything else, I've had a commission from my mother for her Weimaraner, because every year when she's at my brother's for Christmas, on Boxing Day they go to the beach for fish and chips, for my brother's father-in-law's birthday. So, and Griselda, the dog, again short-coated, gets very cold on the beach. So would I make basically something like this, so with a fleece lining and a waterproof outer for the dog? Yes, I will. Now, today we have got a couple of ways to finish these as well, which I think is rather fabulous. Buttons. We love buttons. This fabric here is our grey, would you believe? And it looks so different once it's sewn up and done. And you can wear these to the side like this, or if you want to wear it like a cape. So this is a twofer. This is why we didn't call it a poncho or a cape or a wrap. We've just called it our wax warmer, because you can, excuse me, it was very personal, spin that around, and if you wish, have it as a cape. Now here, now I've just done this, so I haven't actually had time to actually hammer these rivets in, which is why I've just got that pinned on there. So these, instead of buttons, you know our bag strap handles, our bag strap ends? If you've got the template for that with rivets, how smart does that look? So that's a completely different look to buttons. You could do it with poppers if you wanted to have it as a wrap, if you wanted to have that, and then you could always popper it underneath if you wanted. So instead of having that as a rivet, you could always have it so that it folded underneath if you did just want to have it as a. These become incredibly versatile, but what I would say to you is please note which fabrics we would recommend here. We've gone through all of our bolts and all of our rolls to find you the fabric waterproof but lightweight. So you don't want anything heavier than a 6 ounce. 6 ounce or 4 ounce. If it's 8 ounces like the wax we had on Monday, for these, it's just not going to fold nicely. This is a 4, ooh, very personal. This is a 4 ounce, and you can see it's draping beautifully. This is a 6 ounce. It's ever so slightly stiffer, but it's still giving you an element of drape, but it's slightly more structured. So choose which style, which fall, which drape you prefer. If I put them both back to kind of that side. Now the way that I've designed it, it's got kind of a built-in collar to it. There we go. Without having to kind of sew it in. It's built, these are all slightly wet where I've been spraying them now. So you've got that kind of asymmetrical collar, which isn't, it's just built in. Okay, it's, you just fold it over, it's in there, and I will show you how we do that in a minute. It's all in the cutting. So there are others of ones that I've seen whereby, you know, you have to do that and then you sew in the collar. I'm sure that's lovely. We go by the KISS thing here. Keep it simple, stupid. It's got to be easy for us here. But we love the look of this. So, without further ado, let's say good morning to everybody because that's going to help. And then let's go through these fabrics. Also, I have got a new Tilda deal for you this morning, which is very exciting. Facebook, that's what I need to find for everybody. Turn that down, for I have been singing this morning. Privately. Let's have a look. We have got Sophie with us. Good morning to you. Jan's here. You see, Jan, this is perfect for Cornwall. Absolutely perfect for marching up and down those hills in Foy. Sharon's here. Jane's here. Joy's here. Anne's here. Nikki's here. Morning, all missed yesterday because of appointments. I have a few capes like this, but with boiled wool, lined with beautiful colours. It's the only thing I make that I wear. Do you know what, Nikki? Apart from that and pyjamas, pretty much me too. I've made dresses and stuff in the past, but it just takes a bit more time. Jan said she'd be lacerated if she tried to crate her cats. I had to take Malcolm to the vets in Bodmin, and he had a cat carrier that was all zips everywhere, and he's very, very shy, is Malcolm, and we call him the lesser spotted Malcolm. He's not like Naughty Morty, but they're brothers. They couldn't be more different if they tried. So I put him in when he was unsuspecting, did the 4-minute school run. It was literally 4 minutes, 2 minutes up the hill, 2 minutes back again. In fact, probably a minute and a half down because it's downhill. And in that time, he'd managed to get himself out of it. So I assumed it was user error. I assumed I hadn't zipped up many of these many zips. So check it again, put him in. We're all zipped, we're good to go. Put him in the car. By the time that I had got out of the drive, Malcolm was loose in the car. So needless to say, we didn't get him to Bodmin Vets because I did not want him to be the new beast of Bodmin. Yeah, so same. He does not appreciate any kind of any of that. Morning, Joe. Morning, Yvonne. Morning, Patricia. Morning, Joe and Jane and Lynn and Susan. There we go. That's who we have with us today. So far. Right. Oh yeah, no, I do need to actually hammer in my rivets. Eve, good morning to you as well. Right, let's have a look then, shall we, at what fabrics we have got for what. Let's see, because there's a lot. So let's start off with this. You need a metre. So a metre of fabric to line it. It's got to be a wider width, so 150, 150 centimetres width is what I've used. Now, if that means that you buy extra cotton and sew it all together to create that size, that's up to you. If you want a lightweight one for spring, summer, anything like that, if it's drizzly, then that's the thing. But it is a metre that we need. So happily, these are all here. So these are pre-cut, and this is a khaki Ranger twill. This is a Ranger 4. Now. I'm going to show you this and say I would do dog beds with these. It's lightweight, you can wash it. It is not cold to the touch, okay? I would not, even though it's only a 4 ounce, I would not be making today's mate with it because as you can see, it didn't drape. You can give it a go, by all means. But it's not the most drapey at all. So for the dog beds, bags, bag linings. It'd be brilliant for bag linings, especially if you've used one of the Bonneville waxes, so that you've got a waterproof lining so the wax doesn't come through, if you're at all concerned about that. This is the one. It's by the metre, £15 for $14.99, whatever it is, for a whole metre of that. Have it in your stash because it goes with all of the greens and the browns and everything else. It's that kind of colour. Otherwise, you will see this probably lining the infamous fishing bags. Even when I ever actually get around to doing it. Right, let's have a look then at what fabrics we have. This is a black drill. This is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So a black drill. This is a 4-ounce black drill. It is waterproof, seriously waterproof. You can wash it because it's a drill. Look how that is going to fold and hang so beautifully if you want to make this make out of this and not have like a wax fabric. But if you want it to be waterproof, if you want it to be slick and sleek and gorgeous, then this is your one, okay? But also dog beds. This will be the fabric that I make Ruben's dog bed out of for the back of my car, because it's smart, it's black, and it's going to work an absolute treat. Absolute treat. To the extent that one of these is labelled Natasha sample. Sample fabric, and I had the first one off the bolt because that's the one with any kind of fluff or marks on. Please bear in mind when you get these, you might just need to put a lint roller over them because there is every likelihood that we've been cutting it with with the best will in the world, or with the fleece, which sheds everywhere. So apologies if there's any kind of fleeciness on it. Not a lot I can do about that. Dusk grey. This is an amazing colour because it's a greeny grey. I'm going to show you what I mean. That's it. And yet it looks kind of greeny grey. But this is dusk grey. It's beautiful. Imagine bags, because you can make matching bags out of this as well. Just imagine that. You know, you've got everything then, haven't you? You've got it all sorted. Someone said if you put like elastic around the top and bottom, then you can do the walking. What are they called? Pretty sure my mum's got them. For those people that want to wear walking boots but don't want to get the tops of their trousers wet and muddy. What are they called? Oh, it's completely gone from my head. But yeah, it would be suitable for all of that. It begins with an L. I think it begins with an L. I'm going to say it begins with an L. Anyway, this is a 6-ounce dusk grey. So 6 ounce is the maximum that I would go to with these. So we've got black, we've got your drill black, your dusk grey. This is a 4-ounce. This is your leaf green. This is this one here. See how it just falls more softly? It's still got all the water beaded on it that I sprayed earlier. So this is your 4-ounce. So if you want a softer drape, so you can see over here, this is slightly more structured, but very, very warm. But if you want a slightly softer drape, then go for this one. Lovely. That's your leaf green. And then we have got, I'm going to do this one from afar because this is like I've called it dark navy. Gemma's like, not quite sure how much is on there, so we'll underload it. And then if there's any left, I'll have it because I love navy. Like, that's absolutely fine. What I would say with this one is I don't have a lot. It's a 6-ounce. So again, it's this sort of weight. Feels a bit wrong. Yeah, it's a 6-ounce. This is waxed. So again, waterproof, gorgeous. This again would make a fabulous dog coat as well. Really, really, really great. So that is your dark navy. Deep green. I think this is a 6-ounce. It doesn't say it on it, but I would say that's a 6 ounce. This is your deep green. If you want that traditional outdoorsy colour for your wax fabrics, then this is your deep green. It is waxed, as you can see, but so these are the Bonvilles. The Bonvilles are more traditionally waxed, but they are pre-treated, which gives this incredible luster. So all I can say is that the photography on these is so insanely hard because of the incredible luster on these fabrics. You can see it. They just glow and gleam. They are absolutely, absolutely beautiful. But this is your deep green. And I really, really love it. So this is going to be one that the more you wear it, the more it's going to mark, the more antique it's going to look. And this is that traditional wax look. And that's what, they all have that different kind of handle on them. But that's what you're getting when you get something like that, is you're going to get that really traditional waxed look. And the more battered, the more antique, the more worn, the more loved, the more classy, actually, sometimes I think it looks. So we've got those. Right. The other thing that I would say is, please don't forget this. We've put this on a special offer. This is a cotton tweed. Oh, is it a polycotton? Might be a polycotton, I think, actually. I don't think this is all cotton at all. But it is a tweed. And I just bring it out because I stupidly put it next to my navy. This is what I will be making later. I've cut it already, like I'm good to go. But I will be lining a navy one in this because I just think it's just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. So do think of other fabrics, other colours, other things like that, because I really do think that that is a winning combination to the extent, like I say, I have already got mine cut ready to make. And if I hadn't been doing battle with school teachers this morning, then I would have had that made. So there we go. Right. Other things before we get going, because this is not actually a long make at all. For those of you that subscribe to our Natasha Makes Designs workshops, we are going to make the cuddle cowl and various warm, lovely things at our next workshop. So Helen, thank you for reminding us once again. It was always planned to go into this show because it sits nicely and we don't want to be cutting more of this fleece than we need to. But for the cuddle cowls, we have got various bundles. If you want to work with velvet, if fleece isn't your thing, we have got this. This is open for any of you to buy, by the way. This doesn't just have to be, you know, a Natasha Makes Designs thing. If you love these bundles, then please do go ahead. This is our incredible velvet with one of our percales. And I bought this in specially to go with that ochre because it's exquisite. And that, well, that would make the cuddle cows for sure, but also is enough to make one of those bags. So this would be your lining, that would be your outer. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. So there is that element there for you. Also for our Natasha Makes Design members, there it is. We have got a Liberty option. These are on a special deal, by the way, so that we can get them out to you. So this is what you'll see on the outside, and then you've got the fleece on the inside. Beautiful. So you could have a Liberty option. My personal favourite, I'll be making in this one, is the Nightfall. These beautiful, beautiful creatures. But look how that just matches that. Oof, gorgeous. And I'll also be making Emily a matching one because, you know, matchy. If you would like something softer, then we've got the brushed oaks here and that beautiful silver fleece there. So we're going to address working with fleece. This is a great starter project because it doesn't matter if the fleece shifts around a bit, moves around a bit. It doesn't matter at all. And we're going to see how we're going to combat that today. Let's also then have a look at buttons. If you would like buttons for today's make, they're coming in packs of 3. They are 40 mil, and we've got 3 different colourways of them there. Bear with me. By the way, you can make all your outdoor furniture, cushions and stuff with these waxes as well. So there's that colour. These are all on the website, natashamakes.com, by the way. And that. 3 different colours there. So maybe you want that one with your green, maybe you want to go with your navy, maybe that one, maybe black with that with the grey. Hey, look, it's up to you. Black with black or a contrast. Oh, I like the tan one with that. That's nice. So it's entirely up to you. Half metre heavens for tonight. Let's do this and then we've covered everything off and we can actually get making. So half metre heavens, these go live at midnight. These are the very last of them. We have got a Morris Cray percale with crimson, which is just stunning. Beautiful. We have got a Sweetbriar percale. I've only got 2 of these and that's with rose. Again, a very, very beautiful mix there. When they're gone, they're gone. I've got 1 of the Morris percale with chartreuse, beautiful, and 1 of the peacock with peacock, beautiful. I have got 2 of the Library of Rarities from Robert Kaufman. They've gone with black. It's lovely. It's the paper ends, the end papers it's called, in charcoal, absolutely gorgeous. And then I have got Decadent Garden. I only have 2 of these with royal. Look at all of that metallic on there. Again, these are just being half metre heaven because they are the last ones. Like I say, I've got 2 of those. 2 of the Artful Blooms leaf print in Midnight with Midnight from Robert Kaufman. And 5 of the Paisley taupe with slate. Believe that Robert Kaufman designs this for Severnberry, but they don't put his name on it. Insane. So they are just the last ones that we have there. When they're gone, they're gone. Like I say, not many of them there, just 1s and 2s. They go live at midnight, so first come, first serve on those. If I find any more of the percales and stuff, I will add them and let you know. So just have a look on social media. Facebook is generally where I will post any half metre heavens that we've got. And away we go. So if you have a look online at the likes of Fairfax and Favour, places like that, you will see this style all over the place, which is great, lovely, perfect. Bearing in mind, this is going to come in about £25 by the time you've got buttons and everything else. This is not an expensive make for what you are getting at the end of it. So I'm clearing the decks. If anyone has got any questions, please do ask. Like I say, these fabrics, when they're gone, they're gone. I can't get any more, and they should be. The reason why these things are really expensive in the shops is because you can't buy the fabric in cheap. That's why it's not cheap fabric. This is a technical fabric. It's had a lot done to it to get it to this state of waterproofness. Oh, there's some terrible grammar. But we're going with it. Yeah. Let's see. Right. This is the green. So we're going to work with the green. Grab yourself a metre of each. So a metre of your fleecy lining. I think the ivory goes beautifully with all of them. And that would really be my recommendation for you, so you've got that beautiful contrast. If you have not worked with fleece before, newsflash, it's going to stretch. It's going to stretch. Like, you may just as well have that expectation, and then you won't be upset. You won't be upset because it's going to happen, right? It's going to happen. Not a lot you can do about it. It's fine. We will combat it. We will do the things that we can to prevent it, but ultimately, it's just going to stretch a bit. We're going to trim it back. We're not going to panic about it. Doesn't matter. Okay. Oh yeah, look, these are all my samples. Minnie's going to have a light navy. Oh, no, you know what I haven't shown you? Sorry. If you want navy but you don't want wax, I've got a memory polycotton for you. It's a 4 ounce one, so it's perfect for this. Absolutely perfect. Perfect for dog beds, perfect for this. I'm so sorry, I completely forgot to show you this, but you will get the drape on this, and it is also waterproof. So, yeah, I've put that. This is my drill black ends sample piece because that's Ruben's bed, and then this was next to it because this is for Minnie's bedroom bed. Oh, they're not too spoiled, are they? But equally, if you wanted to make today's make and not have it in the wax, we do have that dark navy wax, which is beautiful. But if you'd rather not have a wax finish, again, this is just down to personal preference, or you don't want to work with it, or whatever it is, whatever your reasoning, then this is your light navy memory polycotton. Again, it is waterproof. Perfect for dog beds as well, perfect for dog coats. And again, because my spaniel will find every bit of wet there is everywhere. I actually have to wipe that off. Then this is the perfect one, and it will wash. Look, it's still balling on there. And it will wash. So that's very important for me for a dog bed. That will wash. These ones wipe down beautifully. Let you can see it all bubbling there. Right, so obviously you can use whatever you want. We also have those beautiful jacquards. So if you want to do a lighter weight one, have a look at the jacquards because they would be gorgeous too. Absolutely exquisite for lighter weight ones for summer, spring, summer, you know, when there's just, it's muzzly. Mizzly, that's the word I want, when it's a bit mizzly. So let's look at this fleece. This fleece has got a longer side and a shorter side in terms of pile. You want to decide which way round you want that to be. I'm going to have the shorter side facing out, so I'm going to put that right sides together with my wax. Yes, it's going to shed on my wax. Am I concerned? No, I shall wipe it down with a damp cloth afterwards and get rid of that. So we're not going to panic about that yet. Have I actually cut myself a metre? That's the next question. Have I actually cut this one long enough? We shall soon find out, won't we? The beauty, right, of this, and I might just show you this from afar. This is my dodgy cutting late at night going, I need to prep my shows. First one off the bolt, I've obviously made sure. Oh, dear me. I didn't even have a gin last night. I mean, that's the thing. I can't even claim that. If you are comfortable, I will cut it all in one. Honestly. Anne is asking if the 4 ounce Bonneville will drape nicely as a cape. This is the 4 ounce. This is it. This is it made and done. So you can see, here it is, draping beautifully all over the place. That's the 4 ounce. That is the 4 ounce there. And you can see, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful drape to it. This is why, Anne, we've chosen these fabrics on today's show. So if it's 4 ounce or 6 ounce on today's show, you are safe to use it. Apart from, there's one exception, which was the very first one I showed you, which was the Ranger 4 twill. I would use that for a dog bed. It just doesn't fall. But this one, the leaf green Bonneville, beautiful. Really, really beautiful. It's so fine. It's so gorgeous for this. 2 more things to show you before we get going, because I forgot they're on the side. I have got for you as well, if we are, oh, there, the Dijon is 100% polyester tweed. No, so as I said earlier, Gemma's saying, we've been asked, oh, have we done a dog bed pattern? No, if you want a dog bed pattern, put it in there. I'll show you, if we get time, I'll show you quickly how to make one today, or we'll do a whole show on them. They are not difficult. I can do you, you know, a sort of an any size dog bed, and we'll talk about that later. But if you do want, for your dog beds, if you want a brown one, I'm just going like mud here. And this is a lovely cotton drill. It's a heavier weight cotton drill. This is a 6 ounce cotton drill. A lovely mahogany colour. So what I would say to you is that this is also beautiful for dog beds. It's mud coloured. It's perfect. Absolutely perfect. A lot, you know, if you've got that sort of colouring on your sofa, or if you've got lots of wood, it's going to just blend in really beautifully. So this again is another one. So in terms of fabrics for dog beds today, we've got this one. The light navy memory poly cotton is perfect. The black drill is perfect. There was one other. What was it? Maybe it was just those. Yeah. Okay. And then one more thing before we start, because I completely forgot. And that is this. What is this one? This is a real heavyweight wax. So this is perfect for these sorts of makes. Why am I showing it to you? Because you won't find this listed individually on the show. This launches the next Tilda bundle. So, my friends, if you would like, and I'm going to go a close-up on this. Right. 1/2 metre of this, coming to you for free, with this is the next Tilda bundle. These are, I don't know if you can see it. Oh, on my phone. I'm just trying to show you the picture of it. I don't think I can. It's very hard to see it, isn't it? Let me see. Can you see that any better there? This is the next 5 collections of Tilda fabrics, and we believe that they will go beautifully with that. I'm just going to put a little when the Tilda fabrics come in, because this is pre-order at the moment. We've ordered them, but we haven't had eyes on them now for nearly a year. If they come in and they clash with this, we will simply put it with a different, we've got a lot of different coloured browns. If it goes beautifully with a different wax, we will substitute it in for a better coloured one. Okay, at the moment, this is the one we believe it will go best with. Okay, for the one that we launch tomorrow, it's a beautiful grey. If it doesn't go with the grey we've picked, we'll put it with the darker grey. We've got 4 different greys to choose from. We've put it with the lighter grey because that's what we think it will go best with. But if it doesn't, we'll switch it out for a better colour. But the thing is, you are getting a 1/2 metre of wax fabric that you are not paying for that goes beautifully with your fabrics. We will make sure. So this is the one we think it's going to go with, but if it comes in and we need to change it by a shade, we will change it by a shade, and you will get the best colour match that we feel is right for the fabrics. So the deal is, Tilda launches her new collection in early February. She always does 4 different colourways. We are launching each one individually, where you can buy all 5 in that colourway, 5 long quarters. If you put 2 in your basket, you will get a 1/2 metre of each and a metre of fabric. These waxes are coming to you for free. You will not get this deal anywhere else. Our Tilda is so competitively priced anyway. You feel free to have a look where it's on pre-order elsewhere. But for us, we feel that it is massively competitively priced anyway. It's under market rates of where it should be. And on top of that, we are giving you a ½ meter of wax for free. This is for pre-orders only. If you wait until it's here in the studio, that's absolutely on you. You will be able to buy whatever waxes we have left over, but they will not be coming with your order for free. Okay? Cannot say fair enough. This is to thank you for putting your trust in us, for putting your business our way. This is our thank you to you. Okay? That's the loyalty that we have with our customers who buy their Tilda from us time after time after time after time after time. We appreciate you. We want to thank you for that. And this is our way of thanking you. If you wait until it's here, that's absolutely fine. And we will probably have some left over. But if you want this free stuff, by the way, if you're going to be buying the whole Tilda collection, all 4 of them, which is all 20, right, bear in mind you will end up with 2 meters of wax fabric for free that should be costing you £90. And you won't have even paid that much for your Tilda. Okay. The market retail for these waxes that we're giving you today is £45 a metre. We sell them out at 15, but if you were paying your £45 a metre, you'd be paying £90 for the waxes that you are getting with your Tilda for free over the 4. So I'll leave that with you. I can only offer these things to you. Right. I have laid up my wax and my fleeces. I've laid them up right sides together. Is there a right or a wrong on the wax? That's entirely for you to choose. They're not more waterproof on one side than the other with these particular ones. But you can choose. Okay. I'm going to cut these in a one. So, I'm going to cut these in one, like I say. Now, I'm just going to make sure when I do this, I'm just making sure that these are sitting beautifully. They're not skew-if, that they are sitting nicely. And we are all good. Okay. And then I will fold it up again. Something like your Big Easy is where this cutting is at. Because it's big and fabulous. And we love that very much. So, where did I start off with? I'm going to trim this side back. I have to spin it around. I've got to try and remember all these measurements. They are all in my head. You can do it with a smaller rotary cutter. If you do have a larger one, when was the last time that you actually used it? Whip it out now. Whip it out now, I would suggest. And then, because then you're done in one. The wax sort of holds on to the fleece, which makes it really easy to maneuver. I'm going to use my cutting mat for the measurements on here today. I'm just hoping that I have actually cut this wide enough in my haste. We'll find out. All of your measurements are with your instructions. We had a goodly play. This was me and Wiz designing this. Izzy, who works with us, she did textiles and fashion at college, along with maths and business. So she's the best qualified person in the building, which makes me laugh a lot. So it's like, right, Wiz, you trendy one, over to you. How are we doing this? So we worked, and this one has been cut into and trimmed back and done whatever. So just bear in mind, this was our sample one that we messed and played with and toyed and cut back and re-sewed and a lot to bring you one that then drapes beautifully here. And again, you've got this look on the side here instead of buttons, should you wish. This is actually the brown PU we bought you last week. So if you've bought that, just take a little snippet off, use it there. Or you could use cork, obviously, cork. It's up to you. Or if you want proper leather, we do have them pre-cut as proper leather, if that's what floats your boat. So we've cut this back with 33 inches wide here. Okay. So you're going to have a bit left over. If you are very accurate, then you're going to have 9 inches left over. No, 7 inches left over. You can make some bags out of that. Small bags. Perfect. Oh, it's so beautiful. And then we're going to turn it to this way because we're going to then trim off our selvage. So again, just leveling everything up. You can meticulously measure if you wish. We all know what I think of doing that. However, because we're cutting this all together, you can, and the instructions tell you how wide to do it. Equally, you can just cut off your selvages, and that's that done. Okay. So now we are left with, hang on. Oh, okay. I'm just being asked a question here. Re the Bonvilles. Do we have to worry about what we line the waxes with? Just looking at the comment on the website, it says Bonville wax must be lined using fabric treated with an oil-resistant finish. That is the manufacturer's recommendation. I spoke to my supplier about this. He said every manufacturer has to give you that particular warning. So this is what I would say to you after a lengthy conversation. I have lined mine with a polyester fleece. Okay, there is enough pile on the side that wax is not going to come through. It's just not. There's not enough surface area touching it to then bleed through onto the back of it. If you're using like a white cotton on the back of a dark Bonville waxed fabric, it might discolour it, absolutely. If you want to use a cotton that isn't treated, then just go for a darker one where you're not going to notice it, or something that's heavily patterned where you're not going to notice it. Something like the paper ends, things like that will work because you won't notice if there's a little bit of oil or something like that comes through from that wax. If you are concerned in any way, we do have some oil-resistant fabrics coming up in further shows, but also you can line with other waxes. Which is why I say to you, this is a really, really handy one to have because you can use it as a lining. It's so lightweight, so that you can do that. So if you're doing bags and you want to use the Bonvilles because they're beautiful and the finish is exquisite, then you can either use another wax fabric to line it with, or you can use any of the drills. If you are concerned, for instance, get yourself a metre of this, the Ranger 4 twill that we've got on the show today. That will work exquisitely with it. Okay. If you're using it for these wraps, I would say that you're going to be absolutely fine. I mean, I've done it. These are both. This was made nearly a week ago. Nothing. Just because of the pile, it's not in constant contact with it. Let me find you another one that we made on a show, the Blue Bonville. So this one here, let me show you this one. Sorry, it times out if I'm not on it all the time. I'm going to close up for this for you. Bonville wax, lined with Cave. This was a few weeks ago. Nothing has come through, but it's dark enough and patterned enough that if it did, I wouldn't notice anyway. And it looks really beautiful. So, you know, and very, very gorgeous. So the manufacturers have to be overly cautious with the advice that they give, and they protect themselves. Of course, absolutely. How we then use them is up to us. That's how it is. I've used it with these, like I say, and with the fleece, you're going to be absolutely fine. With any of these other fabrics, you're going to be fine. And that's the thing, if you want to, is get some of any of the ripstops. The ripstops, again, will give you that barrier, will be the perfect lining for them as well. So there are lots of things that we can use with these that are absolutely perfect, and will give us a waterproof inside as well as a waterproof outside in terms of bags and things like that. Good question. Very good question. I hope we have covered that off for you. Right. Right. Where were we? What are we doing? Who are we? What's my name? And where do I come from? Let's spin this round. Okay. So, I've got my folded end up here. I'm going to measure in. I'm going to measure down 2 inches, which is there. Down this other end, down here, I'm going to measure across. And I'm going to, and again, this doesn't have to be perfect. It has to be sort of, because you're going to cut through all the layers at one time. As long as you come diagonally, smoothly, diagonally from that 2-inch mark in down to your 4-inch line here. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? We are doing this because this now is going to create that fold over collar that we have not had. I've got fluff in my hair, haven't I? That we have not had to do anything snazzy to create other than this. That's it. Just get one of those little portable hoovers after you've finished. Okay. Now, all we're going to do, when I said this isn't easy, I think people just get concerned because there's obviously a large amount of it everywhere. Clear the decks. Keep clearing the decks. All of them this morning. It's just clear the decks. We're going to sew all the way around. If you want to clip this, pin this, do whatever you need to, then you can. Walking foot. Walking foot is going to be your friend, but it probably still won't stop that fleece from moving around a little bit. Please don't panic. Please don't panic about it. Honestly, it's okay. It's going to be fine, right? It's going to be fine. So Jane and I had this conversation about, well, therefore, which way should we put this under our foot? Jane's opinion, let's go with Jane's opinion, is that we are going to put this under our walking foot with the wax on the bottom so that it is not walking. It is not going to walk the fleece any more than needs be. If you want to clip it, then do. But you can see this is, this is not sticking or anything as this goes through my machine. And I can just keep, my pedal slipped all the way over there. I'm basically stitching and splitting at the same time, doing the splits as I sew. If you want to use your seam guide, then do. They're really useful. I've put mine somewhere safe, which is less useful. But what I would say is just let your machine do this. Don't pull at this fleece, because you will make it, you'll stretch it. And that's just the nature of it. Like I say, we are going to be, if you're worried about working with fleece, and it's not, I only say that because myself and Gemma were both people that put off working with fleece because someone once told us it stretched. So we worried, because we are perfectionists and we don't want things to go wrong. I have learned to not be a perfectionist so that I actually get things finished, because otherwise it's excruciatingly painful to be a perfectionist and get nothing done. And procrastinate, we call it procrasti-working, because we're too worried about getting something wrong so we don't even start the thing in the first place. I've had to get over it, and having deadlines for TV has helped me massively with that, because you just got to get over yourself and do it. But if you have, so it's not that this is a difficult fabric to work with, it's just different, okay? And yes, it might stretch a bit, in which case you trim it off. Like, this isn't rocket science, and it's not going to damage the end project, okay? But I would rather that you had these things and made them and wore them with pride, and had people say, wow, that's lovely, where did you get it? I made it. Imagine, I made this. Is what I would say to you. It's one of those things, and we've had this debate. It's kind of at the forefront of my mind at the moment, because we're having this with my daughter, who is very advanced in her dexterity abilities, and is having a few problems at school because of that. Because she doesn't fit into the syllabus. You know, she wants to do all the joined up writing and everything, and she's been told by her teacher, we don't do that until year 3. I don't want to see it in your workbook. She's now heard, her hearing of that is, I will be told off if I do more than I should. How to squelch that creativity. So maybe that's where it came from. Maybe, you know, for me, I was really lucky when I was 4 and 5. I had a teacher that believed that creativity was an amazing thing, and taught us, for those of us that wanted to do it, we had a lunchtime club where we learnt to make bobbin lace. I could make bobbin lace at the age of 4 because I had a teacher that believed we could. So we did. And we've got the most, every year my mum brings out the most exquisite Christmas decorations that were made from bobbin lace that I made as a 4-year-old. Because no one told me I couldn't, and that was something you should do when you were older. So whatever it is that is putting you off working with a different type of fabric, whatever, please, life is too short. Please just work with the fabric. I feel quite passionately about this, as you can probably tell. But it is just one of those things. Now, here we go. Let's be very real about this and show you. That's the reality of it. 1 inch. But it's got that stretch. So it's not going to affect the finished end of it. It just means that I've got a bit of a stretch there. Doesn't matter. Okay. What it means is that it is harder now for me to work with it with the wax on the bottom. So actually, when I sew the next one, I'm kind of going to have to work with that on the bottom so that I can see where the edge of my wax is, and I'm going to have to work with my wax as the guide here, because this will just stretch to fit in with whatever happens. And that's fine. And that's absolutely fine. Okay? So like I say, please do not worry about it at all. All right? Now, along this bottom edge down here, this long bottom edge, and a lot of this will have to be done on a wide shot because it is so, and it will need down after. Along this long bottom edge here, I'm going to leave a turning through gap. Okay. So I'm going to stitch that bit next. If you've got a big extension table, which I have somewhere. Get it out. If you want to use a larger seam allowance, do. Whee! I'll shut up now. I feel I have ranted. Apologies for my rants. But yeah, it really upsets me when people talk themselves out of creating beautiful things for silly reasons. That feel really valid, really, really valid. I'm not belittling them. But if you are taking joy away from yourself because you've told yourself you can't do something, that to me is just so sad. Please don't do it. Please, please, please don't do it. So yeah, there you go. Here endeth the first lesson. And as I'm stitching, because I haven't clipped and pinned and done everything on here, I am going to leave that turn through gap before I forget. Whee! And it doesn't have to be a large one, by the way. It really doesn't. But look. Over the course of this, just sort of, stretch out. You know that you've cut this properly. Let's just smooth this out and see where we are with it. Because yeah, you know what? That is going to come off a little bit longer again on there. It's just how that's going to be. And that is okay. Like I say, let's not panic about it. But just lining, holding these things up, realigning them is going to really help. Having this so that I can see that straight edge where I'm sewing to is also really, really, really helpful. Making sure it's just a bit of space really that you're going to need for this one. Just making sure that what you have there lines up. If you want to clip it, I tell you the clips actually that are really handy with this, and that is the alligator clips. If you've got the alligator clips, because it holds a wider amount of it, then do grab those. They're brilliant for this. Okay. Again, this is just a straight line. So if you want to hold it out, make sure that you've got it there. Then you can. If you want to, hang on, if you want to baste this, by the way, you can always sew baste this and then go in. If you feel more comfortable with that, don't have to. It's just finding that level of where you feel comfortable making this. That's it. You know, now when I hold this out like this, again, I am just going to, before I start on another line of it, just sort of smooth it out, check where I'm at. And it really is all very, very lovely. There we go. So just looking like I'm going to go over by a good couple of inches on that long side, and that's okay. So I'm going to start now here and sew this down. And again, I've gone in with quite a long stitch length here. We will be top stitching, so honestly, this is now up into that collar. Following the line of the wax so that we make sure that we get that. And you see now I'm onto the home straight, I can make sure that that all lines up really, really beautiful. There we go. Whee! So you remember that first bit of overhang that we had? That's fine, I'll trim that off. That's absolutely fine. The rest of it is absolutely fine. And then I know that on this end, I've got a little bit of overhang there, but that's fine. I'm going to, that's so short, that side, that I can hold that out straight. And I know, and it's just, you might want to line it with something else. If, you know, if this worries you, but honestly, this is just, it's just the thing that happens. Bit like that. Bit like that. Dee, dee, dee. But again, I'm letting that wax just guide me on that. And then I'm just going to get a pair of scissors, I'm going to trim it off, and I'm not going to think any more about it because it's sewn now. Oh, apart from the fact that obviously I am going to have to unstitch a little bit because I've folded it under. Well done me. Good job I checked, isn't it? Good job I checked my stitches before I snipped everything off. Don't do things in a rush. It's one of those things, isn't it? I think if you are a perfectionist, don't sew, because otherwise you'll be mortified the number of times you have to pick up and unpick her. And one of the nicest things, actually, about working in this industry now for so many years, and having worked on TV channels with other, sort of professionals who are way more professional than me, is just knowing that this just happens. It happens. I remember working on a show with Jenny Raymond, and could she get one thing to work? Could she? Heck, Jenny Raymond, of all people, like the queen of quilting, Jenny Raymond. I've worked on shows with Debbie Shaw when it's gone wrong. Like, the minute that you start to sew, buy and unpick it should come with everything, I think, because then it's just normalising it, isn't it? Yeah. Helps if you don't bunch it up underneath in your haste, is what I would say there. Let's not do that. Do this instead. There we go. We are non-bunched. We can trim any excess away now, safely. And all is well with the world. If that scares you, use a cotton lining with no stretch. You'll be fine. So we're going to turn it through now. Oh, it's going to be beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And it's basically a wonky rectangle. I didn't quite catch that when I sewed it. That's all it is. I just found a bit I didn't catch. There you go. I'm excited for this one. And the beautiful thing is, of course, you've got two different looks. So you can wear it as a poncho. You can wear it, as a cape. I've got to throw on the floor. Should we pop this one around as a cape to show the two different ways? Ba-ba-ba-ba! I would be like, la, 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 everywhere in that. I would be. Look, I've ruffled it now. Gorgeous. Anyway, right. Let's ease out those corners, and then we're going to... And you see, because of how this is being manipulated as we're working with it, as we're using it, this is the deep green. It's already starting to have that gorgeous weathered look to it. I just love this. Guess what I'm going to be wearing on the school run? I'm going to top stitch all the way around, and on that turning through gap, crikey, did I really make it that long? Yeah, I will just make sure. No, it's because I've ripped part of it. Well done me, in my excitement. I will kind of hold it like that to make sure that it goes through. So let's do that side first. La, 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 la. So keeping that edge on the side, we're going to top stitch all the way round. Now you might want to have a little bit of your trim showing. It's not my preference, but you might, and that's absolutely fine. Have we used any different needles? Nope. I'm just bringing that seam right up to the edge. La, 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 la. Right, this is my turning through gap, so I am just going to fold both sides under, like so, go a little bit closer to the edge to make sure that if you want to clip these you can, but again, we're going to fold under and sew in that turning through gap. Just folding both sides under as I go. This one ended up being longer than I wanted, so there's a little bit of stretch in there. Boo, folding it under. Nearly there. Is that as neat a job as I would like to have done? No, but it will do for now. Because I've looked at the cloth. We are going to have to do dog beds another time, aren't we? We're not going to have time to do them today. So turning on that edge, I don't know why my foot keeps swizzling off over there. And like I say, if you do have a larger work table for your sewing machine, then that's great. Do that. I'm working right on the edge just because that's where my camera will pick this up. Now onto that last top stitch line. We're pretty much done. And then it's the finishings off that we want to look at. So again, this is not a difficult project. You've just got to manage your fabrics. That's all. That's all it is a thing of, is just making sure it's stopped. And to be honest, if you can quilt, if you're a quilter, then you are used to hauling around pieces of fabric much larger than this. This will be an absolute walk in the park for quilters. My goodness me. The other thing that you can use, of course, this wax for picnic blankets, the other side of picnic blankets. So you could basically just do this as a large picnic blanket and never actually wear it or put buttons on it or anything else. You'd have a beautiful fleecy side and then a lovely waterproof side, and then if it gets cold, then you can just wrap yourself in it on the way home. So perfect, perfect, perfect. You always have that option too. You wouldn't have to do any of this, just sew two rectangles together. All I'm doing is I'm constantly just bringing that seam to the edge. Some people, I don't know if they've got like hot fingers or what, so that they can, like Jane does, and she can just roll a seam. That skill just has skipped me. So, but all I'm doing is just lining it, sewing a bit, realigning it, sewing a bit more. At the end of the day, we'll have made this in about an hour, which for an item of clothing, find me anything else you can make in about an hour, clothing wise. Don't think we're going to find many, do you? Well, I thought we'd done all the sides. Got one more to go. Whee! But look at the effect on this wax. Oh, it's just lovely. There's also, I think smells are very evocative. And for me, you know, I grew up working in stable yards, around farms. The smell of wax is the smell of my childhood in many, many ways. So for me, it is that lovely, lovely smell. And I remember having my first wax jacket. Oh, I wanted an Australian dry as a bone. And I got a sort of a similar style one. From anyone that is sort of lives down south, then you'll know the South of England show. And I remember as a child getting my very first one. It was like part of the horsey uniform. Hello, what's Gemma got to say? Oh, for the light navy, Gemma, we've got at least 10 metres of that. So yeah, you can pop that on. Sorry. Yes. Right, there we go. So we've top stitched around. We are now going to fold it in half. That's my bottom edge. This up here is my top edge. How do I know? Because what I've got, if I can show you here, bear with me, caller, is this slope, because this will turn over and this will become our collar. Okay, so now it's for you to decide what you want to now do. If you don't want it to, I start putting buttons and fastenings on from 14 inches in from that fold. Okay, and then I just divvy up into thirds from here. So I sort of go a little bit, hang on. 2, oh, there, should have been. There, and there. That's sort of my third markings. So at this point, decide if you want it to be, which I tend to put, because you're going to fold one side over the other, right? Like that. So there you go, that's going to be all beautifully folded. So fold one over the other. I tend to wear this to my right, so I would cross that side over there, just so that it goes that way. Otherwise you're just going to, unless you want to make a feature of that down the side, in which case, brilliant, do. And so here's what you can then do. You can fold it over. See my markings now on the other side, well done me, to remark those. Out the way. You can either put poppers on, pop, 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 done. You can either sew your buttons on through all the layers. I'm just looking for my buttons, what to do with my buttons, where are my buttons, where are my buttons, where are my buttons, here. There's one mark there, there's another mark there, and there's one mark there. You can sew your buttons on and sew through all the layers. Or you can put poppers on if you want to be able to undo it. Then that's perfect too. Or, my newfound favourite one are these. These are your bag strap ends. Okay, these are made out of PU. That's the brown PU, so it's a faux leather look. I'm pretty sure somewhere around here I will probably have hanging out somewhere. I normally have, what have I done with it? I normally have ones in. This is the template. This is the template. So you can do this in cork. You could have cork, which look amazing, which is what I'm looking around for because I normally have them hanging about. If you want actual leather ones, we have pre-cut you some actual black leather ones, which I now can't find because I've put those somewhere safe as well. As well. What have I done with them? Ah, here we go. So if you wanted, see, I think black's a bit dark on that one, but I think these might just look a little bit too. I'm going to put these on to show you because, and again, you could popper these. So if you wanted to, you could put poppers on. I have, and I've yet to actually hammer them in, so they're only loosely in at the moment. On this one, I've just put rivets. But if you want to put poppers on so that you can take them on and off, then do that. Do that. Like, it's entirely up to you. If you think at any point you're going to want to undo this, now I've worn these sorts of things for years, and at no point have I ever undone mine. But if you think that you might, then popper them. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to overlap them. We're going to get our leather hole punch. I'm going to make a mark as centrally as we can manage there. And again, on the other side, there you will take far more care and attention. By the way, if at any point it stops feeling effective, do just get yourself a pokey tool. Do I have one to hand anywhere? If you want to see them worn, look at yesterday's show. I wore one yesterday on the show, all day on the show. You can just poke those out if they get stuck, because sometimes if you're using these, oh, that's so satisfying when they come out, and they get a little bit clogged. There is a hole in there that you can just poke everything out of. When Josh and I were making all of our waxed shoppers, easy wax shoppers for Christmas presents, I couldn't understand why he was struggling with this. It's like, big strong boy, you should not be struggling with this. And he's like, it's really hard to make it cut. And I suddenly realised afterwards, this was absolutely rammed. No wonder it wasn't cutting. Look, these are all the bits. So if you do ever struggle, just check that it's not full of bits, and if it is, get your little pokey tool out. Look, I've now got these everywhere. And just shows how many things I actually use them for, isn't it? I couldn't work out why he was struggling with it, and now I know. Right. So all we will do is fold over by the same amount all the way up. You can measure that accurately, do all of that. I'm just going to, because we're short on time, just going to guess it. That's where our top one is going to go. So again, fold it over. Mark that. Bottom one is there. And you can measure this, and I would really recommend that you do measure this absolutely properly. Was my last one up here somewhere? I feel it might have been up here. There. Is that right? No, that goes there. I'm going to measure these because I measured them on the wrong side. I'm going to go, where is my ruler? Before I make a hash of this, because I'm trying to rush. It's one of those things, isn't it? Just don't do that. It's not worth ruining a project for the sake of a few minutes rushing. Now, obviously, finding a ruler right now would help massively. Right. There. That is where I want that one to go. So let's mark those and do that. Perfect. And if we want to, at this point, then we can, you will, by the way, hammer these in. I'm just going to hold these in place just very quickly as we go. Again, you could, like I say, you could popper these rather than rivet them if you want. It's up to you. Come on, rivet. There we go. You can edge coat these so that they're really, really, really smart. You can use proper leather if you prefer. So from the centre of that up, there. These are really useful because they go through. I know a lot of you bought them when we had them on the Friday deals the other week. They're meant to be for woodworkers, I believe, but when we're using rulers, for me they're really, really useful. And so yeah, so on and so forth. Haha. If you can, I've made that fatal mistake of moving it. If you can this is why I'm getting the rivets in as I go, because otherwise if you move that fluff, you'll never find it again. There I go. I know I put a hole in there somewhere. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Right, and we'll go in and hammer these in properly in a bit. So if I pop this on when we're done, it may or may not hang effectively, like I say, because these rivets are not holding, they're allowing everything to move rather than once they're in, they'll hold it. But if you, like I say, if you want to see them worn, look at yesterday's show. That was it worn. There we go. Last one's on. That feels like that's come across quite a lot. You will measure this obviously properly. Measure it properly. No, it's in the right place. Just feels like it's moved across a lot. We'll pop it in. If I need to move it, then I need to move it. It's that thing, isn't it? What is it? Less haste, more speed. I just want you to get this finished look. What have I done with it? There we go. La 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 la. Right, last one. Right, I don't know how this is going to sit because those rivets aren't hammered in. I haven't had a chance to hammer in any of the rivets yet. So we'll see. But it will sit much better when that is done. In fact, I'm just going to pop this on over my, I'm going to take my top off because otherwise it's just going to detract from it. And let's see what this is looking like, shall we? Goodness knows what's, bear with me whilst my mic rubs and does everything. I'm just derobing. Ah! Right, so when you first put it on, it's going to be like that. And then you fold over, you give yourself that collar. Okay, now this is the 6 ounce. I'm not sure if you will have heard any of that. So this is the 6 ounce. So it's going to sit, this is the 4 ounce, so that is going to hang slightly more softly. Like I say, these rivets are not in. I can see I've just pulled one of those anyway. But when they are riveted in properly, they will hold that really beautifully there. But you have to bear in mind they're not riveted in. And then, there you go. That is today's make, and I can tell you now. So you'll play around with the collar, just fold that over. That's why we had that curve. But this feels so nice and snuggly, really, and it just feels so soft, so soft. So that's today's show. That is today's make. Grab 6 or the 4 ounce waxes that we've got. The Ranger, the 4 ounce Ranger tool makes perfect linings for any of the Bonvilles. Well, any of them really. For any of the bags that you want to make. If you don't want to work with the wax, then go with the black drill or the blue memory poly cotton, which is amazing, and so it's just going to fall and drape beautifully and be so waterproof. Beautiful. Honestly, I'm warming up already. This feels so nice, so nice. And there you go, just a little point of difference down the side, or with buttons. It's entirely up to you. So that is today's show. Thank you ever so much. Half Meter Heavens tomorrow, and please watch out in your newsletter for the next Tilda. Again, like I say, the pre-orders only are the ones that are coming with the free 1/2 meter of wax, and tomorrow's has got the grey wax coming with it. It's your pinks and your greys. No, your lime greens and greys, which is just exquisite. So do check that out. Yes, there we go. And then the final one will be over the weekend. But just read your newsletters and they will all be there and available for you. When they are gone, they are gone. Okay, so it's only while stocks last. But thank you very much for joining me today. Do take care. The Tilda is a pre-order, remember. It won't come out until February. But take care. Thank you very much for watching. Oh, this is so nice and snug. And I will see you soon. Bye-bye.